Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to Golden Creatives Talk. This is the podcast where we explore the journeys of Black and Brown creatives who are defining their own success and emerging into their golden multidimensionality. We're going to be talking about breaking free from limiting beliefs, embracing complex identities, and turning personal struggles into breakthroughs. And speaking of breakthroughs, I'm absolutely honored to welcome today's guest. She is a woman whose work has been life-changing for me personally, having had the privilege of being coached by her in the fall of 2023. Today, we'll be discussing in no particular order the crucial intersection of trauma, identity, and high performance, the leadership, the path to recovery and self-reclamation, and how this journey is a vital step towards defining your fullest potential, what I call golden multidimensionality, in my upcoming book, Brown Beyond Borders. Our guest is Miss Christy Rutherford. She is a Harvard Business School alumna, Forbes featured executive coach, and a former U.S. Coast Guard commander. Christy rose quickly through the ranks. She led in complex, high-pressure environments for over 16 years, but on her journey, she discovered a truth that excellence without alignment is unsustainable. Christy is a burnout survivor. And after experiencing her own debilitating burnout, Christy transformed her breakdown into her breakthrough. Over the past decade, she has devoted her career to helping other high achievers find their equilibrium. She has helped over 300 leaders in 20 countries recover from advanced burnout, generating over 400 million, I think you're actually over 500 million in salary raises and business growth for her clients, all while restoring their well-being and purpose. And her mission is clear: to help great leaders finish well. Woo, Christy, welcome to the show. I am so excited to have you here.
Yay. Well, thank you for having me, Cynthia. I'm excited to be interviewed when the student becomes the teacher. I love it.
Yeah, no. Okay, I won't be the teacher today. I'm so excited to hear all the things from you. Let's go back because I just ran through like your history as if it could fit in 20 seconds or less. Let's go back to that moment when you realized that your success, while incredible, was actually leading you to a point of collapse. So, what
Mm.
did excellence without alignment look and feel like for you?
Um, well, what just happened?
You're still here, a little bit frozen.
What?
Boop, boop. Okay, we're having technical difficulties. I don't know if shouldn't be me. Are you there? Oh, now you're back. Yes, yeah, you're pixelated, but you're back. You're coming back. You're coming
Yeah,
back.
give me,
So did you catch?
we're live, right? Yeah, give me 30 seconds. I'm going to hook up my computer because right when I started talking, it says connection lost. You'd be like, okay, that's technology for you.
Let's
And if it gets a little crazy, I will walk downstairs, which I think I'm gonna do. Maybe because my
okay.
Wi-Fi trips when I'm trying to do something important. So let's just walk downstairs. How about the
Oh,
apples?
thanks.
I can talk while I walk downstairs. This is loud.
This is live, so let's
Okay,
talk
okay.
and walk.
Yeah, let's do
So
that.
so go
Here's
back
the
to
thing
when.
about
Mhm.
I no, go ahead. Ask me the question.
Yeah, so go back to when you realized that your success was leading you to collapse.
You know what's interesting about high achievers is we don't know that we're burning out. So in my mind, Cynthia and audience, and
Mhm.
my hair is going to turn into an afro as I go downstairs. So just I hope y'all saw it cute. Okay, look at
It
all
was.
that.
It is
It
cute.
ain't gonna be like that in 15 minutes. But In my mind, I was winning and everything was okay. But in my body was telling me a different story, right? So I
Right.
was sick all the time. Like I normalized back pain and neck pain. And I was in the emergency room every 2 weeks with flu-like symptoms. And, so to me, I was okay. And if you would tell me that I was not okay, because people were concerned, I was like, no, you don't understand. I'm okay. And people are like, Christy, you're not okay. So high achievers have to wait until all the wheels fall off the bus before we admit that there's something going on.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
coming.
So did all the wheels fall off the bus? Because all of your wheels are back on your bus.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry, y'all. We just gonna make it rock because we not gonna pause. So
It's all
how
good.
did all the wheels like what do all the wheels mean to fall off for a high achiever? Is
Yeah,
like
like
when I mentally collapse. So there are 12 stages of burnout. And so what we think is we just say I'm burning out year after year after year, but burnout actually goes up in stages. So burnout is not a horizontal experience that, goes through years. Burnout is a vertical experience that goes through stages.
mm,
So when you're tired prolonged, you're like, oh, I'm tired or I'm burning out. You may be in stage 9,
mm,
but by the time you mentally collapse, that's stage 12. And so what I've seen, Cynthia, over the past couple of years is a lot of people are keep talking about burnout and it's prolonged and now it's pervasive and it's normal. Okay, we over here now. Um, but the problem is that they're actually going through stages. So they're in,
yeah.
now they move from the advanced to the critical stages of burnout. And the thing about high achievers is by the time we admit to ourselves that there's something going on, we're 90% about to die. By the time by the time we seek help, we're about 95% in the ground. So it's so we're so aloof. Everybody around us knows that there is something going on because there's no way I could have, like, when I got my mom back right, which I know we're going to talk about, I confronted my friends and family and said, why did y'all tell me?
Right.
Oh, because I'm thinking I'm hiding my crazy. Oh no, crazy was written all over me. Like they knew that I was going to burn out and nobody said anything. And so people, part of my mission is to get people to recognize where they are because your family and your friends will watch you self-destruct and not feel responsible and they're not.
Right. Well, talking about something that I brush up against. Wait, let me go back. So you burned out, you the highest stage of burnout. And you've been telling the story of you sleeping on your brother's couch or living on your brother's couch for a couple months. Oh, we lost you for a second. Boop. Let me get you back. There we go. You're back. Um, so you were, oh, I can't hear you.
I said I just switched my Wi-Fi to the better Wi-Fi. I'm on an island. Nobody cares about my janky Wi-Fi. So go ahead.
No, we're envious, so we act like we don't care. um, so you hit the greatest point of burnout. You tell a story of ending up on your brother's couch, living there for a couple of months. And so now I want you to kind of go back to your turning point off of the couch. How did you sort of go from, complete collapse to finding your way back? Yeah,
So let's back it up a little bit.
sure.
And so in 2012, I was successful commander. Actually, I was lieutenant commander at the time. I got promoted after, but I had to resign because I was being harassed by a toxic psychopath. Now, it is true that I was being harassed, but it's also true that I didn't manage my stress and burnout for 15 years. Like I'm
Right.
addicted to proving people wrong. Like, and I couldn't take it anymore. So it's like, so while I'm being harassed and I was literally going to die or um, physically assault this man, he probably would have beat me up because he was bigger. But I was like, so I started to detach. So a part of, I think, stage 11 burnout is I could see myself doing stuff. I couldn't stop myself. So I'm typically the rational person. I'm becoming completely irrational. And it's like if we as high achievers, we like to duct tape ourselves together. My white strings were showing. Okay. And so I'm in the emergency room every 2 weeks with flu-like symptoms. I felt like there was a train blowing in my ear when I woke up in the morning. I had headaches where I felt like somebody was squeezing the side of my head. Like when I wake up, I just felt like there was somebody just like literally trying to like crush my skull. And I had stomach ache and back pain. So my body is bells, alarms, whistles, red flags, everything is going off. And I'm like, no, I'm okay. All right. Like insane where, and when I started telling people, Cynthia, I'm having panic attacks at my desk, my boss would say something, I slide under my desk and say a panic attack because I really want to go beat him up. And so if it's like, if I'm a 10,000 watt light bulb, imagine like the 10,000 watts of me not being able to express my now violent energy. It's like electrocuting me and I'm under my desk having panic attacks. And I'm leaving meetings having panic attacks because I wanted to like stomp a hole in this man because he was harassing me and he was threatening my career. And so I ended up resigning because nobody would help me. And there are two sides to that story. Destiny, I was answering the call to destiny unconsciously and unknowingly. So the situation had to happen, but both things are true at the same time. But I didn't recognize this until I got to the other side of it. So once I resigned, I ended up working with a network marketing company. Everybody's rich quick in network marketing, which is a lie. But I ended up going with this network marketing company. So now what I'm watching a lot of people do is that they'll leave their jobs and then start a business, but they're taking their bad habits with them. So after 18 months of entrepreneurship and burning through my $100,000 savings, I took me with me. Right. And now I have to prove more people wrong because I left my good job, my good government delicious check with 3.5 years left to retire with a full pension. And then I ended up going to move in with my brother for 2 months because I ran out of money because I still didn't know, Cynthia, how broken I was. And I wasn't willing to admit to it. I wasn't willing to confess it. And once I stopped and looked in the mirror, it's almost like how we think as we're addicted to pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, like we'll push and we'll push. It's like moving from stage 11 to stage 12 burnout was like pushing a wall that was water. And when I mentally collapsed, I call it a banana peel slip. Like I just slipped into explosion where I burned my brain down. I feel like it down to 2 atoms. I could not talk for a year. So that's burnout. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the prolong of me not managing it, me doing everything and taking me with me left me in my brother's house. It was 3.5 years. It wasn't a few months. It was 3.5 years of trying to now put myself back together again. And after I systematically rebuilt myself and my mind and my mindset, I could see how I created my own self-destruction.
So I'm listening to your story and it's giving me goosebumps because, well, one, the thought of slowing down, and I think this applies for all high achieving women or high achieving people. Like the thought of slowing down is preposterous. It's downright scary. And then the thought of crashing and burning, it's sort of like it's not an option. So I want you to kind of go to that moment where you kind of realize that the crash and burn was kind of a gift, because I'm imagining that's the point when you could start to climb out of that hole. And also then speak to how you help leaders get past that fear of slowing down or like seeing the burnout that they're heading straight towards, like in real time, so that they can stop themselves before they end up, like you said, pushing that wall of water.
Yeah, well, it took a long time for me to want to share my story because I didn't. Because Christy Rutherford is a winner. Okay, let's be clear. I am highly decorated, champion. Okay. And so I never wanted to share my burnout story. Never.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody really knew. My friends didn't even know I live with my brother. Nobody knew I ran out of money. And so, but coaching, I've gotten at least 200 people promoted in my previous career. And I had my coaching certification in 2005. So coaching was a natural part of what I did. So I'm always a person who's like motivating to people to be better leaders and speaking to, large groups about how to be great leaders. Like that's what I did. I cultivated high performing teams. So that's what I was talking about. So whenever I started to want to coach, I wanted to talk about how to manage your stress. I never talked about, I moved in with my brother and lost my money. I didn't tell, and I left my brother's house in 2017 after, becoming a Harvard Business School alumni, which is a whole different story of how did I get into Harvard? Well, I had a great past. I had a great vision. I was in the messy middle. And I had to talk to the program director of, I am somebody. I'm trying to convince them. What y'all ask me, the current stuff now is nothing. But I got this great vision, and I am phenomenal. But meet me where I'm at in the moment. And I didn't really tell my story until 2019, and then in 2020. Right. I never talked about I was in my brother's house until COVID happened and everybody was locked in the house going crazy. I'm like, y'all gonna be all right. Does that make sense? I was in my brother's house for 3.5 years. People like, wait, what? And the reason why I didn't want to do that, which goes to like, the high achiever thing, Cynthia, is I didn't want people to feel sorry for me. Right. Because if you tell the story too soon, it's like anything I do, nothing matters. Christy wrote 8 books, and they'll be like, oh, look at her. Oh my God, that's so great. That's so awesome. And they're clapping.
Bless
and
her.
then, Christy got into Harvard, business school. Oh my God, that's so great for her. She so deserves that. Right. And I had to get to the point where, as you talked about the turning point, I saw it as a blessing and not as a burden and not as my testimony. People be like, you want to hear my testimony? No. Tell me when it becomes a testimonial. Okay. Like, tell me when you learn a lesson in it. And so that's when I started talking about, I was in my brother's house. And then it became, so that's, we're in 2025 now. It's still kind of new. And so the more I got comfortable with telling a story with empowerment and not as a victim, the more I got comfortable with saying it with the straight face and not going into woe is me. That took time for me to be able to say it. And people be like, wait, what? Like, how is she not bleeding all over line? I can't believe, like, when I started telling you about moving to my brothers, like, I got chills. I can give you chills because you now see like the greatness on the other side of it. And so, that took a long time. And so I would say I saw it as a blessing. I kind of knew, but I had to come out of survival mode. So that would have probably been 2020, 2021 after we started to, the more, let me say this, God asks, the more I shared my story, the gory part, the more clients I was able to serve. And then the more money I was able to make because I gave up everything. And so my income became attached to my story, which was attached to my obedience. And so I had to shift from the mindset of, is this really about me or is my service now about the universal truth and what's greater for other people? So the more transparent I became between 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2020, then the more people I was able to attract and the more people I was able to serve. And then money was the byproduct of that. So that has taken time. So yeah, that's a long story to answer your question though, but.
No, it's thank you for all the long stories. I feel like I'm learning more about you, which, that wasn't why I started coaching with you. Obviously, it was to learn more about me. Some of the, like, as you're talking about yourself, I feel like you're talking about me because, when you say, like, you knew how wound up in my I was when we first met, and you knew that, like, there was more to me than I was letting on. You said something earlier that you were addicted to proving people wrong. I was, addicted to making people like me, or addicted to people liking me, and contorting myself in all those crazy ways. So I think we're about to transition into um, trauma default, because it's a word that came up quite a bit during our sessions, which I have to say, it was miraculous. I mean, my transformation took place in, I think it was like 12 weeks. I think it was supposed to be 8 weeks, but I was a holdout. So I took 50% longer, but I went through it in 12 weeks, which is still miraculous when you talk about your situation, where it was years for you to sort of experience and come through the learnings that you shared with us. And so I'm going to pull a quote from your book, Trauma Default, because you mentioned, and this is going to tie into my question, I'm going to read a passage. Once we discover and break the trauma default cycle, many of my clients are promoted and receive 30 to 40% raises within 3 months. Several have been promoted over their boss's boss, one in less than 3 months. And then you say, what happened? Their perspective of themselves changed. So before we get into the perspective of themselves changing, let me ask you about trauma default. What is it, and how does it prevent high achievers from aligning their excellence with their well-being or their
Yep.
true essence?
Yeah. So trauma default is, what is your default response to stress, conflict, and anything that's going on in your life? Leadership is conflict. So typically when it comes to high achievers, I have to start with what their problem is. I have to start with what their triggers are, because we don't have time. Okay, Cynthia, we ain't got time to be digging around. Like, I used to go to therapy and I just be sitting there talking. And then after an hour, they say we done. I'd be like, but did we move this needle forward though? Right? Like, hey, I come and we talk and you dig up the skeleton and you sit it beside me. And then it's like, no, but I really want to punch my boss. But, and then we go to the next time and you listen to me talk. And then I got another skeleton. And now I'm dancing in the Thriller video with Michael Jackson with all these skeletons, and we're not unpacking anything. Right.
Uh-huh.
And this is taking too long, because I'm a high achiever. I like to win. My current problem is, by the time I go to therapy, I'm really about to die. So, and I got to confess that I'm crazy. But if I'm here confessing that I'm crazy, you need to help me get past this crazy so I can get back to winning.
Yeah.
And so how I typically start with, high achievers, I listen to what's going on today. And then I'm like, okay, well, give me a snapshot of your childhood. So how I attract my clients is not talking about childhood trauma, because nobody has time for that. And high achievers would never, because clearly we're perfect. We want to know, why aren't we winning? Okay. We want to know, how do I make more money? That's it. That's all achievers want. So that's how I attract y'all. You want to make some more money? You hate your boss? Yes. Great. Now, when I have you, I'm like, so tell me about your childhood. And so what we start with the triggers, but then if I can listen to your childhood, I can pretty much predict with 95% accuracy on how you're showing up in every area of your life. So there's typically one or two things that have happened in your childhood, one or two experiences. There is you look mature. There is a tape. There is a program for the millennials and the Gen Zs who don't know what a tape player is. There is a conversation that's a running script in the back of your mind that's playing at a low level, is playing at, let's say, volume 5. Then when you get into conflict, let's say with the boss, then it's like it goes up to 50. And so your response to your boss is based off of what the script is and what the story is. For example, women who were told that they're not smart when they're younger, it doesn't matter if a teacher said it or if their parents said it. These are the women. These are the Black women who got PhDs, 2 master's degrees and PhDs, and make $65,000 a year, right? Because they're getting the degrees to prove that they're smart. They're not getting the degrees and attaching their value to it, that I can make more money.
Right.
People who grew up in abusive households, women who grew up in abusive households, typically have one or two reactions. So you have trauma default patterns, which is what we're going to be unpacking next year, because I have time. But like women who grew up in abusive households, Either they have one or two triggers or one or two responses when they get into conflict, and this shows up at work. They become super aggressive, like they black out and they go bat shit crazy. And then, or they turn into a church mouse. And it depends on what they did when they watched their mom be abused, right? Like, did they turn into a church mouse, or did they try to defend themselves? So they're like, either I'm going to hide because that's their safety thing, or I'm not going to be like my mama. So that's what trauma default is. And so what the work is for us is to listen to your problems today. Let's listen to your childhood, and we're going to pretty much map them together of, oh, and once you as a rational winning adult can figure out what's blocking your success, and it takes some time to dig, right? And then to get into the habits, as you talked about 12 weeks. But once we can figure that out, you'll change it because you know what to change. Right. And that's the problem, is like, we're working on 15 different things. Like, I'm working with one of my friends now, and I'll interview him at some point, who has all these challenges in his life that is showing up in his marriage. But the stuff that's showing up in his marriage is based off of what happened in his childhood. So it's just not women. It's not women of color. This is a white man. I can't wait to interview him because everybody has a trauma default.
Okay.
I don't know if I went too long in explaining that, but that's
perfect, because it actually leads into, so basically you're saying that talking about or understanding your trauma default is the key to more than just career growth.
It's not about your job at all, right? It's about how you're showing up. Your job is just one part of your life. Just like I talked about with my friend and his marriage. Like, his marriage is now the problem. Right. Does that make sense? And so now that's his pain point. He's a high achiever. He ain't got time. So I was like, all right, fine. And this is my boy. So I was like, all right, fine. I'll give you 6 one-on-one sessions, and we will work through it, and we'll figure it out. So I'm probably telling this story too early, but their marriage counselor is telling them to start at the marriage vows. No, we need to start with how you frame what a marriage should look like, which is based off of him not wanting to be like his father. Does that make sense? Right. So we starting at the wrong point. That's what trauma default is. Trauma default is, let's solve the right problem. So we over here greasing the wheel. That we talking about, we're trying to solve the wrong problem. Let's go to the root cause of like what the real problem is. Let's fix that, and then everything disappears. And so we can be a marriage counselor for the next 3 to 5 years and get divorced, or we can come fix this thing in 3 months, and then you figure out like what the real problem is, and then you fix that, and we've saved 30 marriages. We've gotten $428 million in salary raises. That's the byproduct. Now we gonna count this money because that's what high achievers attracts y'all the most. We've saved 30 marriages. We've gotten 300 leaders to recover from the advanced and critical stages of burnout. Many have no idea that they're burning out. I'm like, you're about to die, right? So we have women who are about to die who have no idea they're about to die. So when I say, you're ready to die, they be like, wait, what? And once they get on the other side of it, they be like, thank God. Like, they have no idea we're working to our self-destruction. And then we've also reversed stress-related medical conditions, high blood pressure, diabetes, fibroids, lupus. One lady was on the kidney transplant list. One lady was on a walker, Cynthia, for 3 months. For 3 years. Oh, God. 3 months later, she's not on a walker. She's 43, right? So we've done a lot. So once you break this pattern that is creating this self-destruction, these self-destructive patterns, you set yourself free. And we've kept hundreds of kids out of therapy talking about their parents who were a little special.
Oh gosh, I love this trauma default conversation, and I love how you're really reaching for the root cause.
Yeah.
And I do have a theory. And this theory was a gift that you also handed to me after I had completed your coaching program. You had referred me to Althea Gray, and I did a few sessions with her. And one of the things that we explored was, I can't remember the name of it, but it was something to do with our ancestral lines. And in that process, I had this kind of download moment where I realized, there are a lot of default settings, let's say, in my operating system that actually come like I was born with. They're sort of encoded in my DNA. And so part of my question is related to racial trauma. There's a lot of stuff that, and because you coach a lot of Black and brown high achievers, high achieving women, we're all coming to you with our, ancestral trauma. And so I wanted to talk to you about that a little bit and just kind of get your view on that. I feel like I had a lot of clarity because of our, present life trauma default work, that I had a lot of clarity in resolving and reconciling with ancestral trauma that I didn't know I was also operating with and that I could release. So I was wondering if you could talk about that as well.
So it's several things. So one, we have, I'm going to go back to trauma default and then I'm going to answer this question. So it's 5
Sure.
trauma default patterns. I finally, Cynthia, thank God, because now I have the data because
Right.
I've moved from coaching to now teach this at a higher scale, because I'm the person that I'll do something and now I have the data. Now I can teach it. Right.
Right.
So, and I didn't want to get the flogging per se by all the psychiatrists who'd be like, you don't know what you talk about. You'd be like, I got the data. So you can talk about what you want to. Like, I have more results than anybody that I know. So the 5 trauma default patterns are people pleaser, chameleon, overachiever, lone wolf, and a perfectionist. Which one were you? You were the people pleaser.
I'm a people pleaser and a perfectionist.
Yeah. Right. So once we can figure out, like, now I have a quiz that you take, and then you'd be like, oh my God, I'm a such and such. Then we could take you back to
that.
let's figure out why. Okay. So to answer your question on the family ancestral line, we are we're spiritual beings having a physical experience, right? And so this goes into, the metaphysical stuff that I'm going to talk about. It's supposed to be later this year. Child, be launching so many things, but it's going to be next year. But I have a new podcast that I'm actually coming out with.
I can't wait.
Yeah, where I'm breaking all of this stuff down. So on a metaphysical plane, I'm a metaphysical teacher, technically, right? I can do a lot of stuff. It's great.
You are.
So we came here as spirit to solve a problem for our generation. And this is what Gary Zunkoff talks about in Seed of the Soul. So we came here with karma, and to heal karma from our previous lifetimes. And then we're also going to incur, karma in this lifetime. And so some of this karma that we're trying to heal and that we're trying to solve is based on like some of the experiences that we've had in the past with our families. Right. So we're going to have some of that beef, and it's like, all right, well, can I heal this karma that me and my father have been fighting for lifetimes, which is why my boss triggered me, because my boss talked to me like my father talked to me. So while I'm blacking out, he's still crazy, but nobody's responding like me, because he was triggering my trauma default.
Right.
Okay. We came forth in this family line. Typically the high achievers, the people who are proving people wrong, the people who have the most problems, came forth as the one to break certain patterns for their family line, for their generation. I came forth to break certain patterns for my family, which involves, telling the truth and being very direct. That's why I'm very direct, is because some people in my family, like it's not that they're wishy-washy, but they're kind of like indecisive and they're afraid to tell the truth. Well, that was left behind from maybe some slave times of they're afraid to tell the truth. Well, I came forth to break that pattern from my family line. And Althea, who I work with, our first call, she was like, that's why you're very direct. And that's why when you talk, I cut through all the noise, because I came forth to break that from my family line. So that's how I show up. And then she says, and they probably don't like you. I was like, no, they don't like me, because I'm the very direct one. But now with that understanding that if I came here to break certain patterns, which also includes money, which includes communication, which includes certain things, then I'm not going to be like my family. So a challenge that a lot of high achievers have is that we're the ones for our family, and being the one is very lonely. Being the one is very painful. And if you're the one, you're going to be the black sheep and the uncommon one. And if you were common to them, then you're not doing the work that you came to do. And so if I'm going to sacrifice my mission that I came here to do as spirit, to be common with my family and have them like me, then I'm not doing what I came here to do. And I'm not saying my family doesn't love me, but I'm not in their inner circle. Does that make sense? Like they're all around the fire, you know, singing Christmas carols and being cozy, and I'm outside getting rained on, right? And so I'm close enough in proximity, but I'm never going to be common because I came here to break patterns. And if I was common, it means that I've sacrificed the work that I came to do as spirit in order to be common, and I'm not doing my work. So there are things that our families left behind, but there are these things that they left behind of people who are the ones and the weirdos and the uncommon ones. We came here to break those patterns, and it's going to be uncomfortable. And if you can understand that, it allows you to redefine what family means, and then go and like give yourself that love that they're just not capable of giving you.
It's a lot, because when you frame it in that way, it basically means that a high achieving person who is on that freight train towards burnout is doing so because they know that they're called to do something. They're just not conscious of what it is. And so they're reverting to this trauma default, trying to barrel through and barrel forth, and yet not really getting anywhere. And then they crash and burn. And what was it all for? Nothing.
Yeah.
You figure it out.
Yeah. Well, a part of that is it's we don't slow down to reflect and try to figure out. Most high achievers are survivors. High achievers are running from something, right? So if you think about, you know, success, high achievers have learned how to channel our pain into fuel to lift us off the ground. We eat no for lunch. So what in my data gathering, Cynthia, 1 out of 3 siblings make it out. So the same experiences that some siblings would use if they grew up in an abusive household, one is going to make it out. 1 out of 3. 1 out of 3 is going to become the successful. The other 2 don't make it because they'll use these exact same circumstances for why they can't achieve certain things. And the high achiever is just like a space shuttle going to take off. So in a space shuttle, the space shuttle uses most of the fuel in the takeoff. Right. Like, because it's heavy on the ground and you have the white smoke that's coming out, and it uses the external fuel tank and the rocket boosters. Once a space shuttle gets off the ground, it drops the 2 rocket boosters because it used most of the force in the takeoff to get off the ground. Once the space shuttle gets over the ocean, it drops the external fuel tank and it kind of putters into outer space and goes bloop, 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 because it's already like broken the inertia of the gravity that's trying to hold it back. And so the challenge with a lot of high achievers is we're off the ground and we can't get to space because we're dragging the exact same things that we use to get us to where we are. This is why high achievers are not satisfied with their success. Don't even know they're successful. You can have $5 million in the bank and you won't feel it because you still feel the pain of proving your father wrong because you're proving your boss wrong. Your boss is just another reincarnation of your father. So the same conversations. And so until we start to let things go, until we start to become conscious of the unconscious script that is running in our minds, we're completely oblivious of these things that are going on. All we know is I'm tired, I'm crazy, I have everything, but I feel like I have nothing, right? I checked all the boxes, I'd proved everybody wrong. And so we continue to do, and we're chasing a feeling. And the feeling that we're chasing is just come back into the awareness of who we are. You know, when I talk about, or you talked about getting the raises, you know, we're at, is 400, no, is 22, $23 million in salary raises. Like we doubled 28 people's salaries. We've tripled 18, 12 got 7-figure packages. That's just for them coming into the awareness of who they already are, not getting a degree, not doing anything, not getting an award. It's like, wait, I'm the SHIT. I had no idea. Why? Because you're fighting the unconscious conversation that your mama said to you when your mama told you that you weren't pretty.
Yeah.
Like, does that make
Yeah.
sense? So
Oh, yeah.
so that's what we do. And it's hard to explain that in marketing per se, which is why we're coming out, which I'll tell you about at some point. Like I'm working on creating a podcast where I'm interviewing people and unpacking their trauma defaults live, because I want to now share it with the world so people can see themselves in their stories. I could see you high achievers do almost the exact same things. That's why I'd be like, Cynthia, you crazy. He was like, what?
Yes, I remember you said those exact words.
You're tired, right? What are you talking about? No, I'm good. I just need a new job. I'm like, yeah, okay. Whatever. Yeah, we can get you some money. Come on over here. And so, so that's what it's something that hasn't been done before. Because if I'm gonna come out here in these streets, I'm gonna do something that's amazing. And so it's a conversation, that needs to be had, because high achievers, we deserve to be safe in our success. Yeah. We deserve to actually be happy because we made it. We are creating.
Celebrate.
Yeah, we are creating new, generational patterns that are good. We are breaking generational poverty. We are, I was one of the first people in my family to go to college. Now that's like the expectation. We are the first to do things, but we're so embittered and embattled that we're dying in misery alone, like rubbing our own legs. And my goal is to awaken high achievers to like wake up and then come back into alignment with who they are and what they're meant to be. And then live from that awareness that you are like the greatest to ever do it. Nobody can tell you, Cynthia, that you're not the greatest to ever do what you do. Nobody can ever call you weird because you now embrace that, right? Nobody can take away like your spiritual woo-woo, because that's what you were missing. You reconnected with that spiritual side of who you were, and you tapped into it, and now you've owned it. If somebody calls you weird, you'd be like, whatever. You're not here to please people. You're here to please Cynthia.
Yes. Well, thanks for saying that, because it was actually in our first call in the fall of 2023, you said that you saw that I would write a book called Brown Girls Do Fit. It wasn't called Brown Girls Do Fit, but I did write a book about this experience, and what kind of buoyed my ability to do that without the resistance of my ish was being able to sort of look at myself in the mirror and say, you're the only person who can write this book. Like, this is your book. Like, ain't nobody better to write it. So go forth and do it. So that's done. But one of the things, so you're talking about so many things. I mean, when I look at all of the Black and brown and other women around me, they are degreed to the hilt. I don't know, like master's degrees, doctorates, they have all the letters in front of their name, after their name, and yet they're still just scraping by or trying to survive. And it's they need a Christy wake-up call to sort of discover, like you say, their God selves. They are the only person who is qualified to do what it is that they came here to do. Now this is leading me into sort of like that final round of questioning, which is about your next projects. I know that coming up, you've got a finance project, an initiative that you're setting up with Jacqueline Campbell. So if you could talk to us a little bit more about that, and how you see this as, and more for our arsenal. It's not an extra degree from what I understand. So I want you to kind of like couch it in we're not just talking about adding more degrees to our amazingness. This is about more than that.
Yeah, let me go back to that statement about these Black and brown women being agreed up. And that's because, and I wrote an article, why is a white man's PhD more valuable than a Black woman's, right? Yeah. And it's because Black women aren't, typically we're told they're not smart. Those are the ones who do it. The ones who don't feel smart, they're going to prove that they're smart through the degrees, and they're not attaching their value to themselves. They're attaching their value to the degree.
Yeah.
So that's one. And last night, as we're winding down the coaching, I have this $500,000 to $1 million executive intensive that I'm doing. And so it comes with advanced office politics. And so we're talking last night about how to calculate your value. Well, one woman says, Cynthia, I took a pay cut to in 2019 to get a title. She took half the pay from 345 to 180 in 2019 to become a CEO and kept the job. And now she's fighting in her mind. Oh, my boss. And then they finally gave me 200. And now I'm like, okay, well, you give me 10%. And I'm like, wait a minute. You know me. Wait a minute. I'm like, you took a pay cut for a title. So now you title rich and cash poor. This is insane. I added it up on how much money, and we're not even talking about her real value, like how much she should be making, but let's just talk about what you left. $1 million on the table between 2019 and today.
Yeah.
So yeah, she talking about her boss. I said, you solving the wrong problem. Like you just left legit $1 million cash. This ain't even equity. This is like real money, Cynthia. One of the women was wiped out. She took her glasses off. She said, my God, right? Like, so she's like, well, they said, who are they? Who you getting your advice from is the question, right? Like, well, they said we need to, like, so now you got the title of CEO. She forgot who she was, and now she's fighting for crumbs and wasn't even going to match her value in 2019. So that's one example on your sisters who out there not making their money. Now let's talk about the Wealth Management Accelerator. So,
which is the new initiative.
Is one of the four. I'm working on 4 things. It's great.
Gosh, I love you.
I'm just saying. So it's like once I got my data, right, and what we've done in Vision Finder Masterclass over the past 6 years has been amazing. I have the data now. I can teach it. Now I have time because I said I have to shut down. I can't be a founder, a CEO, and a coach. Like I couldn't do all 3 at the same time. And so if I'm here to create generational wealth for my family, while we do very well, Christy Rutherford is shooting for $8 billion. And if you pay me, you know how I am, I'm involved. So it's like, I can't give my attention to the 30 when I'm meant to serve, 5 million. Right. Does that make sense? So now, I have capacity. So the Wealth Management Accelerator is my friend who's in wealth management, and she's my wealth manager. So we've been friends for 7 years. She's been in wealth management for 30 years. She saw a lot of, 400,000 Black women have been laid off in the past year. And so she was like, Christy, help me create something for these Black women. And I was like, no, I'm good. I'm collecting my trauma default. That's not in my vision, Cynthia. You know how I am. Like I see my vision. I'm not over here no more. I finally let that go. I'm coming over here. But as she started to explain it a little more, and I hope that the backstory makes sense, because people get mad when I be like, I ain't doing it. You be like, this is my prerogative. This is my life. I can do what I want to. But anyway, so it's like, once I started to see the opportunity though, so we're in the largest in the US, and it's also in the world, but in the US alone, in the next 20 years, there's going to be $145 trillion transferred from pretty much our parents to us, right? From the baby boomers and the silent generation transferring their wealth to the Gen X, the millennials, and the Gen Zs. So we're in the largest wealth transfer in history. At the same time, 100,000 wealth managers are going to be retiring out, right? So they're retiring. And so we're in this booming industry that's growing. You have these people that are going away. So Jack talked about the gap is going to be 200,000 wealth managers in the next 10 years. So we created a program where we assist people with getting their Series 65 license in 90 days. So it's shifting from, if you want to grow.
I lost your audio.
Can you hear me now?
Nope.
Can you hear me now?
No, not yet.
What in the world? Hold on.
Nope.
Can you hear me? You can't hear me?
Nope, not yet. Oh, and this she just reached the best part.
I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna leave and come back.
Okay. She said, oh, I guess she's gonna dial back in. I can't wait to hear more about what she's doing, but it sounds like there's going to be a lot of people retiring out of their finance management jobs. And all right, let's see.
All
Can we
right, can
hear
you hear me
you?
now?
No, not yet.
What the fuck? Can you hear me now?
See if
Can
I
you hear me
can.
now?
I'm going to transfer out of my.
Can you hear me now?
Mm,
You can't hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Oh, my bad. I hope that wasn't your earpiece because I was cussing.
I hope it was.
Sorry, y'all. Christy cusses. I was like, what the F? Okay. You'd be like, I said F-U-C-K. So we live. You'd be like, are we live? You're gonna be able to cut this thing. But anyway, so what happened was, okay, so the Wealth Management Accelerator is we're teaching people, right? It's not just Black and brown women, it's people, but people how to now shift into wealth management. It's a growing industry. So actually 2 VFM women have actually joined. They were like the first people to sign up. They were like, wait, you doing what? So I'm doing the mindset part. So it's a 3-part to the Wealth Management Accelerator. The first part is, hold on, I think that was your microphone. So let me plug my microphone back up. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. So my part is the mindset part of, you can hear me, right? Okay.
Yeah.
You looking to the side. Okay, great. Okay. So my part is the mindset part of creating the executive mindset, right? Working on the trauma default and showing you how you're creating your problems at work. So we need to be able to pull people out of the victim mindset. You don't know that you're a victim. Well, if you're blaming other people for why you're not getting ahead and how to calculate your value, like that's my part. You know what I do best. So it's like to bring you into owning and understanding that you are the greatest person that ever walks this planet. That's part one. The second part is Jack and her team of financial advisors and wealth managers coming in to be able to mentor you in the industry of financial management. So with the Series 65 license, you could do 10 different things. It's not like one path is like you can become, I mean, you can get 5 or 6 jobs in that. You can also become a person that stewards their wealth. You can start your own business. You could be a financial advisor. So there's like a portfolio of things that you can do with this license. And then the third part is we're preparing you to pass. Jack has a system that she has that assists you with getting she has a 95% pass rate, and she's trained over 900 people in her 30 years of how to get this license. So that's what the Wealth Management Accelerator is. So for me, she's been asking me for the past 4 years to get my Series 65 license. I'm like, hey man, anybody got 90 days to be studying for nothing? But now that I'm looking at like my family start to transition, I'm going to be a steward, right? Like, and know just enough of how money works. How do the markets work? So I want to know, how does money work from a greater scale, from a financial industry experience and perspective, so I can start to steward my family's money a little bit better. Because while my uncles and aunts are dying, I'm watching my cousins buy new cars. And I'm like this, hey man, like if you put the money in an account, that money will pay you. So we need to start to shift how we see money, and to have that certification. Yeah, it allows me to see and be able to have conversations, to be able to funnel them to somebody else, because I'm not doing it. So that's why I'm doing it as well. And so yeah, our kickoff is December 6th. So you can go to wealthmanagementaccelerator.com and check us out. So whether you want to shift into having a business in wealth management, or getting a job in wealth management, or being a steward like me, that's what it is. So the knowledge that you're going to get, and Jack's mentors are people who've made billions of dollars in the financial industry. They're going to be the guest speakers that are going to come talk, and they give you the real juice from financial industry icons Dr. Chan has been featured on CNBC, I think like over 200 times. So those are the people that you're going to have access to and you're going to be mentored by in this 90-day experience.
Okay. And so that was Wealth Manager?
Wealthmanagementaccelerator.com.
All right. I'm going to put that underneath the
comments. Okay.
And cool. So this is not just getting a certificate. This is about having a license to set up your own business, a license to get a job if that's what you want to do, or set up your own business where you can do this, or not even set up your own business, empower yourself to understand how to handle all of that wealth that's coming to you.
Yeah. So it's, like people have asked Cynthia, can I just get how much is the license on your own? And I'm like, well, you can get a license. This is a couple $100, but you get access to me and my team where we're talking about mindset, like priceless. You're getting access to Jack and her mentors. So we're trying to cultivate this community of informed people. Or you can go get a license any day. But if you don't have the mindset while you're walking into it, like I just, beat the lady in the head last night and she left $1 million on the table. Like there's so much more that goes into it than just getting a license.
Right. And there's also this sort of like coming together of energies that are aligned in a purpose.
Exactly.
Do you want to share any bits about any other initiatives? You mentioned that there were 4 in the works. Or any?
So the second one, we can talk about the next one when we get off, but I'm relaunching my YouTube channel. So you can go to, you can search Christy Rutherford on YouTube. You can look at me in the red tank top, depending on when it comes out, right? The one that be in the red tank top, you'll see my videos whenever I launched a new channel. I was supposed to do it last month, but then we launched the Wealth Management Accelerator. You'd be like, oh my God, it's so much to do, so little time. But I'm relaunching that. So, search Christy Rutherford, me in a red tank top, where I'm starting to talk about more spiritual things, like more metaphysical things, more trauma. I'm talking about trauma default. So, so I have 2 channels, one where we're focused just on jobs. The second one, we got to focus on the metaphysical thing. Apparently the tags on YouTube weren't matching and I couldn't get any traction on the channels. So jobs, get money is easy, or y'all come over here. Let's talk about some metaphysical things and trauma default and spirituality and stepping into your greatest life. The third thing is we're actually going to, once I start to expand and teach trauma default on a greater level, my coaches who you were coached by, who was your coach?
My coach is Raquel.
Okay. So, they will restart Vision Finder Masterclass. And so we'll still have that going and, still have it available to the market, because it's one thing to tell people they have a trauma default. We have nowhere to send them. So it won't be necessarily me, but it'll be my coaches who have accounted for, of the $427 now $1 million. I've just me alone starting out. I think I accounted for like 8, but my coaches accounted for the rest of it. So, my coaches were my former clients who got amazing results. So you can't tell Raquel you weren't angry. Raquel used to be angry, right? So it's not like this qualification program of let me go and learn this. No, you become. My coaches are free because they used to be my clients, and I handpicked them and invited them to come assist me in reaching 10,000 people. So that's it. So my YouTube channel, the coaches are going to franchise the business, and then the Wealth Management Accelerator.
Okay, wonderful. So this has just been an amazing conversation, technical difficulties aside.
I hope y'all still paying attention, even and got through my cussing.
I love your cussing. I love everything about you, Christy. I want to have you back on the show again. And I'm sure you're going to cook up something new and we'll have a good reason to bring you on the show again.
Oh,
so
yeah, sure.
Thank you all for tuning in to Golden Creatives Talk. Until next time, be well, be creative, and embrace your golden multidimensionality.
Bye, y'all.